Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Believers Club. Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has watched all our episodes. We are so appreciative of you guys and that has subscribed to our YouTube channel and given us a follow on Facebook and Instagram. And make sure that you guys tune in every Wednesday because that's when we will release a new episode. But let's get right back into it. We have a new topic for you, and that is communication.
Communication.
Yes. I'm going to let Harj take that and start it because communication is key when it comes to doing business, period.
Yeah, communication is it's such we over communicate about communication, but we don't actually communicate.
Yes,
Whoa.
that's so true. Yeah, no, that's a
Put
fact.
that on a post.
We'll say that we're trying to communicate, but communication can only be taken in if you're also comprehending what is being communicated to you. And
exactly.
There's so many different ways of how I may communicate compared to how Harj communicates. Mm-hmm. So it's a thing that we don't consider when it comes to starting businesses or starting a relationship or friendships or trying to figure things out. Communication is key for sure because we all bring different things.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's one of those things that plays such a big part in, it can make or break your relationships, your business, your clients, your just everything really, right? And I think what's really important is to recognize that there's different communication styles.
Yes.
People communicate differently, people understand things differently. And your approach, you as somebody in business especially, you have to get really, really good at reading people.
Yeah, and that definitely comes with practice, but yeah, that's a key thing to get under your belt.
Because once you can learn to read somebody, and I'm talking about looking at their nonverbal communication, reading, what they're saying to you, what their personality style is, when they communicate to you, it'll tell you a lot about who they are. Right? Mm-hmm. And from there, you can pick up on, okay, how do I communicate with this person? How do I get through to them? Because the goal of communication essentially should be to get your message through to another person and then to understand their message to you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. A lot of times we communicate because we just want to be heard, but we forget the other side of it is that communication is a double-edged sword. Of course, we have to be heard, but we also need to hear.
And I feel like hearing has to always come first. Mm-hmm. And that's gonna be where we need to do the most work. But because, like she said, we always want to be heard. We always want to share our side of the story, justify our reasonings, tell our version of what we're trying to get across. But we forget that there's another person and you want to go into a conversation being equal and not already feeling like I'm just going to drop it all on them. And now they have to take it all in and try to get back to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's so important, even like when we're networking, right? To be able to talk about the more than just the typical, how are you? What do you do? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
It doesn't really build anything. I learned something in business recently because I work with a lot of motivated people and a lot of big thinkers. And the one thing that I really picked up is they ask open-ended questions to people to really get the conversation flowing. So instead of how are you, we may, of course, that's like an icebreaker for everybody. But when you start to ask someone like, well, what do you do? Like if I was to say, Serena, what do you do? And you were to say, oh, I'm a makeup artist, right? Yeah. And I do hair and makeup. And the conversation would just end there. I'd be like, oh, awesome. Yeah. But in reality, what you want to do is you want to say, that is amazing. What is it about makeup that really sparks your joy? Like, what do you love about it?
And also when I'm being asked to get into the habit of also giving a little back right away, like I do makeup and hair. What is it that you do? Or anything that you can also now throw back at the person who's trying to give you something, but now you can also give it back so you can hear a little bit of their story.
Totally, because people's favorite topic is themselves, right? So they say in conversation, always try to make it, if you're trying to build a relationship with someone, make it about them.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Because you want importance put on you, either if you're being heard or you're wanting to, or you're listening. You want the attention on the person who is providing you with whatever it is. If I'm starting the conversation, I want to make sure I give that person some attention so they know that they're going to be validated. Whatever comes out of their mouth is actually, I'm taking it in. I'm not just asking for the sake of asking and then I just look around.
Because it feels good when somebody focuses on you, right?
Of course, yeah.
To them,
And
it's really a positive connection.
And you actually might end up talking and letting out a lot more than you planned on, because you feel like, oh, they actually want to listen. They don't want to just be heard. They want to actually take more in as well.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
No, for sure.
People underestimate. Like, I'll share with you guys a really quick story. I was, so in my business, right, there's a lot of recruiting. We have a lot of clients. We have like, it's like a social enterprise, right? So when one day I was at Tim Hortons. Okay, I can't believe I'm sharing this with you guys.
Hey, real stories, man. They drop the realest gems sometimes.
Talk to people everywhere you go. Like, if you want to get in the habit of building connections, and I'm assuming that if you're in business, you do. I'm assuming if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're the shyest entrepreneur, you know that learning to talk to different types of people is going to be good for your growth, right? So here I am. I'm at the Tim Hortons in Vancouver, and I'm in the washroom lineup. And this lineup is taking forever. There's just me and a guy ahead of me, but there's one washroom, and I swear, I don't know what the woman was doing, but she was not coming out. And I look at the guy ahead of me, and he's like, she's been in there for 20 minutes already. And at this point, we had already waited for like 10. I'm like, oh my God. Like there's no other washroom in sight. And it was like early in the morning, and I had a meeting that was going to happen. And him and I are just standing there, man. What else do we have left to do but to start a conversation? So
Yeah.
he looks at me, and he looks me up and down. He goes, you look like you have somewhere important to be. And I just started chatting with him, and I said, so like, what do you do? Like, this is what I do for work. I have a meeting coming up. What do you do? What's your name? Where are you from? All that. And this guy just opened up. He told me everything. He goes, I'm from Mexico. I visit here every so often, like da 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 da. He basically gave me his life story. And him and I, meanwhile, we're waiting for this chick to come out of the washroom. We learned so much about each other. And this is a person that in any other circumstance, we'd walk down the street and never even notice each other, right? Mm-hmm. And I got to know so much about him. And now he's like a connection. He's someone that I, sometimes I call up. He's gone back to Mexico now, but we keep in touch. And, he's possibly even able to refer me business down here. Family. It's like, you just don't know who you're going to meet. And actually, he ended up coming into our office that evening, right? And sat down one-on-one and was interested in learning about what it means to be a client. So it was just, you just don't know when you're going to meet people. And I learned that with him. And then like an hour later, I met somebody else at a networking event. It was like a Toastmasters thing. And this girl was completely different, and yet I had the same result. She also came in and sat down with me that evening. And she was someone that was like a straight shooter. She didn't want to beat around the bush. She didn't want to get to know me. She just wanted to know what I did and how it benefited her.
Yeah.
Right?
But completely different from the guy.
Completely different, and you have to be able to do both.
Yeah.
You have to be able to adapt to and be like, oh, okay, this person just wants this. This person actually wants more. They want to establish a bit more, right? So it's just about learning how to communicate with people. I think the thing is, when you get outside of your head, when you're in conversation with people, you can focus more on who they are. And when you can focus more attention on who they are, you can understand exactly what to say to them to be able to either close them on a sale, recruit them, whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah. You get to understand the person fully, like for sure. It's like, I'm completely different when it comes to, I've told Hearts that I am not, when it comes to networking, I've never been to events, like a networking event. I am a shy person, but I'm not at the same time one of those introvert, extrovert type of person. But I realized when, after starting the business, I still, probably for a couple years, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really network besides with the people that were already in my life.
Yeah.
And I think it was just 6 months ago when I was still working, I was at this job for a year and a half. I think only about 4 people that I like talked to knew that I did makeup. Most of the company did not know that I did makeup on the side. And when I ended up having, so about 5 months ago, I randomly, this guy comes up from like a good friend at work, comes up, we just start chit chatting. And at that point, I was just going through that transition, being more comfortable in my skin, and also being comfortable with the work that I do, and having that confidence behind it. So I just randomly, I'm like, oh, and I do makeup. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. And I showed him my portfolio quickly. We got into a conversation, and right away he's like, oh, so I told him that I kind of want to maybe get into movies and do some movie set makeup and things like that. And he's like, oh, a lady used to work here. She's actually the HR of one of the production companies.
What?
And that literally, for a year and a half, I didn't mention anything. I probably lost out on a lot of opportunities. But when bringing it back to me and making sure that I was comfortable in that, I don't even kind of making sense, sorry, but as soon as I was more comfortable and proud of my work and was comfortable putting myself out there, and as soon as I did, look at the biggest connection that could have come my way. Just because I decided not to shy away from putting myself out there and sharing my story and just sharing what I do. And if a person accepted it, great. And it literally couldn't have gone, like, I haven't gotten in touch with the HR, but just the fact that me just mentioning that to someone and then that connection coming out of that, that's what networking is really about, and that's what communication is about. And it takes years. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of self-awareness to get to a place where you can communicate everything that you want to communicate and network the way you want to network and do the things you need to do to grow your business. But yeah, like, that was one of the things where I'm like, I need to be more comfortable with putting myself out there and sending 100 emails and being grateful for that one reply that goes the way I want it to go.
Yeah, I love that story when you tell it, because it literally shows that how much of an impact it can make just to communicate to somebody, share your gift, right? Question, when you did that, do you find that it helped you to open up again to other people about what you do?
Yeah, for sure. As soon as that, I'm like, why was I not sharing what I do with people? Because like I said, I probably missed out on so many opportunities because I was so shy or just not comfortable, or wasn't 100% aware of what I really wanted out of this business, which I think is also, that's the process as well, because every month or every year there's something new that might get thrown your way. But for me, as soon as I mentioned them, I'm like, why have I shut out my communication to people? Like, when I share my dreams, I always get something out. And that day it changed everything, and I haven't stopped. Like, I reach out to people, and even if I don't hear back, I don't let that shift. I reach out to another 50.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing. Yeah.
Communication starts with confidence too, right? Well, it can work either way. Either you put yourself in a position where you start to communicate, push yourself out of your comfort zone. Confidence is like a byproduct.
Yeah, which was like that was me. I for whatever reason didn't want to mention it. I had been talking to this person really close, and something made me just mention it, and it changed the way I thought about marketing myself. And I'm like, why was I not doing this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I know people in business that are extremely shy, and they struggle because they want to just do business by themselves in a corner, and it's like, it's not going to work that way. So even if you can start by the only thing that you do, if you are the shyest person right now, I'll give you some advice. If you are the shyest person in the world and you struggle to just talk to anybody, start by being out and about and saying hi to one stranger. Just saying hi.
Or smiling.
Yeah. Just start as simple as smiling at someone random, say hi, whatever it is. and just watch. Just continue to build that habit, because you will most likely get a positive reaction, and you'll continue. And then who knows who you may be opening up conversation to. And like Serena said, she just shared with someone she knew who knew somebody that could help her, right? And when you have something that you're doing in business, something that you should be proud of it, right? Be really proud of it. Wear it on your chest and figure out why you're not sharing. Like Serena said, are you unclear about what you want to get out of it? Are you even confident in what you're doing?
Yeah.
Do you want what you're doing, right? Because it'll transpire to people when you talk to them.
And know that it's not an overnight thing. Like, go walk around for the next 6 months over the summer months and say hello, catch somebody's eyesight and just smile and build on that. And just know at the end of 6 months, you're going to be actually starting conversations.
Yeah.
It's the way things work in life. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get. And the more with that practice, the confidence is going to come.
Yeah, it has to. It's a byproduct. It's just going to happen. If you're consistent with it, you will do amazing things. You will. Yeah. But it starts with just doing the simple things and build yourself up to the point where you're having full-blown conversations with people. And if you're having full-blown conversations with people, your next step is to understand how people operate, understand their particular communication styles. I totally blanked on something, but I was going to say something, about when you are speaking to somebody, I think that like the most important thing is to learn how to be someone that responds to people, that doesn't react to people.
Yeah.
So when somebody is communicating to you, whether it's in a business relationship or personal relationship, it's the same thing, especially in a business relationship, because you have a lot to lose if you can't communicate with your client or teammates, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people will say things that will feel like it's rubbing salt on an open wound, but you have to really center yourself and remember to always be in a place of responsiveness as opposed to reaction. A knee-jerk reaction in business could cost you a lot.
Oh, it's always going to cost you. It's going to cost you in business, for sure. It's going to cost you in personal.
Cost you money, cost you relationships.
And it costs you your own mental growth too. You kind of stump yourself. You stop yourself from having an open mind and having some other opinion enter your brain than just having your own.
And if people see that you are a responsive communicator, guarantee you people are going to come to you more often.
Yep.
People are going to come to you more often. You cannot be so closed-minded in your communication in your business, because you will literally narrow out a lot of connections and narrow a lot of possibilities. So,
because it does come down to everyone wants to be heard. We all want to be heard.
Yeah.
But someone has to listen. Like, someone has to be there to listen. And if you just want to talk and not have somebody else's opinion back, you're just not ready for a lot of things in life. But know that everyone wants to be heard. We all want to be heard. We all have things to say and share. But there has to be people that are also listening.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be a balance.
That actually was amazing. Everybody wants to be heard, but somebody has to listen.
Yeah, somebody has to.
Dang.
Yeah. No, that's a true fact. But even, going back to like, start small. For me, that's how it built up actually to that final, like, there's actually HR and movie production, It started with me slowly trickling, I do makeup, to like 2 people that I was comfortable with. So I would regularly kind of show them stuff and this and that. And then as probably a year into this, as I'm getting more confident with my work and having more of being more sure of where I want my business to go, I started mentioning it to a few other people, and people started following me, started watching everything I do and supporting me, like fully buying products from me. And right there was kind of, I'm like, I need to start doing this a little bit more. I need to start sharing my story a little bit more, no matter what it is. And that was it. And then literally like a month later, I mentioned to the guy, and he's like, like nobody had mentioned it. And it's so you just don't know when you might just change your own life.
Literally just by sharing your gift of what you do.
Yeah.
And simple. And not just on social media. People need to hear your voice. People need to see your passion.
Yeah.
And people need to be able to see it, because we literally can be so good at doing it on social media, but man, like we need to be able to communicate in real life again.
Yeah, I know for sure. Because yeah, we're not all built for each other. We're not all,
Yeah.
but the fact that when you share, there's going to be someone who's going to connect to your story and be there, and they're never going to leave because they hear you
Yeah.
and they feel heard.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree. I agree. It's so important. It's a two-way street. So,
it is. Yeah.
man, communication, we can even break it down further in other episodes too, about like specifics around friendships,
Yeah.
because we could talk about that. We could talk more about, how tips on how to network, in like a real life scenario. Those are all things this is like a general, like, communication is important. Communication is something that we need to open ourselves up to, and getting better at. But we of course can break it down and like focus in on certain things. And I
And you
think,
know that, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
oh, in the podcast, I know we do a breakdown as well, in our audio podcast. So wait for those to come out. But yeah, I think that we can totally hyper focus.
Yeah, and know that it's practice. Keep building on it. Go, like she said, go out there, smile, say hello to random people. Even if they ignore your hello and look at
Yeah.
you like, why are you talking to me? That's okay. That what you're doing is first for you. It's practicing for yourself. So don't get bothered if you say hello and someone doesn't say it back and then you completely give up. Don't do that.
Man,
We can easily do that too. Do not give up on the practice you started for yourself.
if you say hello to a complete stranger, that is such a low risk, high reward situation. It is there's no risk involved, right? Because you don't know the person.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't say hello to you. If they say hello to you, it's a high reward, right? But if you get really, really bummed out by the stranger not saying hello back, someone you don't even know,
Yeah.
then there's deeper work.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. There's other things that you need to work on than just working on your communication, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's real. That's real. So, because everybody can have a bad day. I mean, people could have said hello to me and not even noticed. I don't notice a lot of things. So.
I've done that. I've said good morning to people and they don't say it. And for a sec, it definitely gets to me. But then you gotta think like, I'm the person choosing to say that.
Yeah.
So I can't give the power to the other person over my feelings of what the reply may be to something I'm putting out myself.
Yeah, because then you have expectations of a stranger, and that's like a control issue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
So interesting. Well, I mean, I can't say it's totally a control issue, but it could be signs of one. But
it's a sign. You lack confidence. You lack confidence, of course. You may not think you're worthy. You start to question yourself when you're actually the person trying to practice to better yourself.
And it also means that you highly, highly, highly put your happiness and joy in the hands of other people.
Yes.
And if you're putting it in the hands of other people's reactions, then you've got work to do around that.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
we all do. I mean, I'm not to say, like, I've had to work on that a lot.
Oh, like I said, I continuously work on that daily and make sure that I do not let the what would be the
opinion.
What's the word? The word would be like, I guess someone else's reaction impact what the hell I'm really feeling. Like, yeah. I am working on that daily. And yes, there's days when it may be your mom or your dad, someone really close in your family that says something, and you will let it get to you because they're part of your life. But no, there's a bigger purpose to you. Mm-hmm. Know that there's a bigger goal, there's a bigger dream, and that starts with you, and that starts with you working on yourself. And yeah, this also impacts confidence. You may lack confidence. That's why you end up letting people get to you. Yeah. That was me for a long time. There's
a reason why we know so much about this stuff. Because this is literally us.
And I didn't write anything down today to have certain structure of what I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to just go in. But yeah, like, if we actually kept talking, it's all coming from personal experiences and things we've struggled with and that we actually struggle with to this day and practice daily. Again, back to that practice. You have to practice the good, just like you do everything else. You have to practice it.
You do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Baby
Communication is one
steps.
of those
Baby
things.
steps. Yeah.
I
For sure.
agree. Wow. I love that. There's a couple of nuggets that I even took away and I learned from. I was like, dang, I'm going to really implement that.
Cause yeah, like that one was a good one. Now that I think, I'm like, we all want to be heard, but know that you need to be there to listen. So it's your
1000%.
communication will change
It
the
will.
day you start thinking that your voice is the only one. Everything will change around you.
Yeah, I agree. I
Because
completely agree.
people end up picking up on that energy too. So they're gonna actually, more people will show up at your door and talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
completely agree with that. And you will be forever thankful for the gift of communication.
Yes, for sure. And know that it's an ongoing thing. You're not gonna be great tomorrow. You're not gonna be great. Just keep practicing on it. It may take you a day. It may take you a year. It may take you 10. But
Yeah.
know that giving up isn't gonna do anything. Just keep it pushing. Picking up wherever it is. Pick up and learn from that.
Yeah.
And keep it pushing. And before you know it, you're gonna be A1 and you're gonna be good to go for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
hopefully pass those nuggets on to other people around you and in your life.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That is the goal. I absolutely love that. Man, drop in the comments if you guys can relate, or if there's something that one of us said that just kind of blew your mind, because I know I picked up some things.
Yeah.
Share this with your friends and keep coming back to it whenever you're struggling with communication.
And let us know what you struggle with, so we can talk about that. Because
Yeah.
there's probably things that we haven't thought about, but we know we're real people. We all relate to a certain thing, and that's a lot of things.
Agreed.
So make sure, let us know in the comments anything you guys want us to talk about, share more of our journeys or stories that we have. And make sure you guys come back every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
And make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, like I said at the beginning. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook. That's where we're active throughout the week. But for Wednesdays is when our new episodes release. So yeah, I think that's it for today, guys.
Love you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.